Tradition, by Romila Thappar. Born in 1931 in Lucknow, Romila Thappar is widely regarded as a preeminent historian in the landscape of post-independence India. Her intellectual journey began with her studies in history, first at Punjab University and then at the University of London, where she earned her doctorate in 1958. This academic foundation laid the groundwork for a remarkable career that spanned various academic institutions and left an indelible mark on Indian historiography. Thappar's academic tenure included teaching positions at Kurukshetra University and Delhi University. However, it was her association with Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi that became pivotal. Her role as a professor of ancient Indian history at this institution was instrumental in shaping not only her own scholarship but also the broader field of historical studies in India. Thappar's influence extended beyond the classroom. She played a vital role in the establishment of the Center for Historical Studies at the university, fostering a nurturing environment for historical research and discourse. Her academic contributions were not confined to the classroom. Thappar's scholarly output encompassed a range of works that explored the intricate tapestry of India's past. Her notable publications include A History of India, a comprehensive 2-volume examination of the nation's history, and Asoka and the Decline of the Mauryas, which delved into the history of the Mauryan Empire. She also explored the social dimensions of history in works like Ancient Indian Social History, and delved into the realms of culture and patronage in Cultural Transaction in Early India. Tradition and Patronage. Tradition, an exploration of cultural continuity. In the excerpt from Cultural Transaction in Early India, Thappar delves into the multifaceted concept of tradition, unraveling its layers and complexities. She draws attention to the intricate interplay between culture, tradition, and history, 3 interconnected facets that collectively shape the narrative of a society's past. Thappar deconstructs the commonly held notion that traditions remain pristine and unaltered as they are handed down through generations. Rather, she posits that the very act of transmitting a tradition introduces changes, leading to the evolution of cultural norms over time. At the heart of her argument is the notion that culture is inherently dynamic, a living entity that adapts and transforms as it is transmitted. This perspective challenges the assumption that tradition is a fixed entity frozen in time. She illustrates this concept by exploring the idea of parampara, often regarded as unchanging knowledge. Thappar contends that even such seemingly unchanging traditions exhibit variations and modifications, driven by the historical context in which they are transmitted. Diverse interpretations of the past. Thappar provides illustrative examples to underscore her argument. She begins by highlighting the disjunction between normative values and the lived reality of society, particularly evident in the rules of Varna, or caste, as outlined in the Dharmashastras. Through historical evidence, she reveals instances where these norms were not rigidly followed, such as Brahmins marrying individuals from outside their Varna. Thappar unveils the complexity of origin myths, particularly those surrounding royal families claiming Kshatriya status. She demonstrates how these myths were manipulated and fabricated to align with desired social identities. Intriguingly, Thappar examines literature, particularly the works of Kalidasa, to showcase how even within the normative constraints, contradictions and variations existed. The portrayal of the Vidushaka, a Brahman character in Kalidasa's plays, diverged from normative expectations. Such departures from established norms, she argues, point to the existence of flexibility and complexity within society, often overlooked by oversimplified interpretations. Culture, tradition, and change. Thappar engages with the evolving definitions of culture and tradition. She traces the historical evolution of the term culture, from its origins in the cultivation of natural growth to its extension as the cultivation of the human mind. Through a historical lens, she dissects the association of culture with social groups and its subsequent redefinition to encompass behavior patterns, language, customs, and institutions. Thapar contends that culture, in relation to tradition, bridges the past and the present, necessitating an understanding of the historical context in which it operates. Crucially, she challenges the prevailing notion that culture remains static over time. Thapar critiques the tendency to portray culture as unchanging, emphasizing the need to acknowledge the dynamism inherent in cultural evolution. She calls for a nuanced examination of cultural institutions and forms, advocating for a more accurate understanding that reflects historical change and complexity. Reassessing tradition. In her conclusion, Thapar advocates for a critical reassessment of what is accepted as tradition. She underscores that interpretations of the past influence what is regarded as tradition, highlighting the malleability of this concept. Thapar asserts that re-evaluation becomes essential when new historical information surfaces or when shifts occur in the process of interpreting the past. She emphasizes the imperative of questioning and re-examining accepted traditions in light of evolving historical perspectives. In this more exhaustive exploration of Romila Thappar's ideas, her profound contributions to the field of history are highlighted, including her role as an educator, her scholarly output, and her thought-provoking analysis of tradition, culture, and historical change. The remaining part of the essay examines the distinction between normative texts and creative literature in their portrayal of individuals residing in hermitages. It delves into the normative curriculum, which primarily pertains to upper caste males and outlines a fourfold life cycle: studentship, householder, renouncer, and ascetic. The essay also introduces the central concept of the renouncer and its sociopolitical significance within Indian civilization. Renunciation and asceticism. Within the normative tradition, renunciation serves as a precursor to asceticism, functioning as a means to attain personal salvation. Ascetics, while distanced from society, often acquire extraordinary powers that bolster their influence. The dual nature of asceticism, combining isolation and supernatural prowess, is explored as a significant factor in the construction of their authority. Persecution and intolerance. The essay challenges the pervasive notion that Hinduism has a history of religious tolerance and non-violence. It shifts focus to historical instances of persecution, particularly the persecution of Buddhists in Kashmir. This evidence of intolerance complicates the narrative of a harmonious religious landscape, highlighting antagonism among different religious groups. Persecution by Shaivas. A notable segment of the essay examines the persecution of Buddhists and Jainas by Shaiva sects, shedding light on the possible motivations behind this hostility. The essay probes whether Shaiva reverence for asceticism led to the view of Buddhist and Jaina monks as impostors. It explores the historical context in which these persecutions occurred and questions the impact of these events on the broader religious fabric of the time. Emergence of Hindu identity and sectarianism. The essay delves into the evolution of the term Hindu and its implications for the perception of religious identity. It raises questions about the authenticity of a unified Hindu community in the past and explores whether the label was applied retroactively to encompass various sects and castes. The essay proposes that a more nuanced understanding of historical communities is crucial for comprehending contemporary dynamics. Cultural tradition and selective choices. In examining the process of creating cultural traditions, the essay underscores how historical perspectives are often selected to align with present-day needs. It emphasizes that cultural forms are not self-created but chosen consciously, and these choices are shaped by the historical context. The essay underscores the complexity of society by highlighting instances where societal norms were not strictly adhered to. Conclusion. The essay concludes by advocating for a deeper understanding of historical legitimacy and community dynamics. It underscores that beliefs about the past are interlinked with self-perceptions in the present. The essay's central message is that a multifaceted and historically grounded perspective is essential for comprehending Indian civilization and culture beyond simplistic narratives. By exploring belief, practice, historical context, and their interplay, The essay enriches our understanding of the intricacies within Indian society and religion, offering a more nuanced and comprehensive interpretation of its historical evolution.